Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down the Nhl Dfs slate for Tuesday, January 10th. And we got ourselves a 10-game slate here tonight where I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite line stacks, some of my favorite individual plays, and some of my favorite value plays. And then we'll wrap up the video talking a little prize picks. With that being said, let's dive into my spreadsheet here. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do in the top left-hand corner with those highest implied game totals, where you can see 3 of those games are coming in with an implied total of 6.5 goals. 6 games coming in at 6 goals even, and then just 1 game here between the Stars and Islanders coming in at 5.5. And then take a look down here at the Vegas odds, where you can see each team who's favored to win tonight. Now folks, before we dive into a couple of my favorite line stacks here, one new thing I want to bring to this channel is giving you guys a weekly content schedule update, so you know what content to expect from me on a daily and weekly basis. Throwing that on the screen here right now, so you know what to expect from me here this week. With that being said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight, starting with that first line for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We got Crosby centering Gensel and Rust. Gotta get on my spreadsheet there. Crosby centering Gensel and Rust. Penguins have a great matchup at home here tonight against the Vancouver Canucks, who've allowed 3.90 goals per game this season, second most in the NHL, and they have the league's worst penalty kill that's hit at just a 68.1% rate. Now, we saw the Penguins put this line together earlier in the season, then they went back to Raquel on the right wing over Brian Rust. Honestly, that's the way I kind of prefer it as a Penguins fan, but when Rust is up on this right wing with Sid and Gensel, the chemistry between these three is very legit. One of the best lines in the NHL. In their past 3 games, they've combined for 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points, essentially averaging 3 points per game, while averaging 9 shots on net per game as well. Now, before we move into this next line stack here, I should probably clarify why I prefer Raquel on the right wing over Brian Rust. It's not anything to do with DraftKings, it's literally just to spread out some of that forward talent for the Pittsburgh Penguins, but when it comes to DraftKings, yes, I definitely prefer Brian Rust over Raquel. Like I said, the chemistry between these 3 here on that first line has been legit now for a couple of years. Now, the next line stack that I do like here is that first line for the Seattle Kraken. Matty Beniers centering Andre Burakovsky and Jordan Eberle. A cheaper line stack with nice upside and a good matchup here against the Buffalo Sabres, who've allowed 3.45 goals per game this season, 9th most in the NHL, and have a penalty kill that struggled as well, just hitting at a 73% rate. That is the 7th worst in the NHL. Now, all 3 of these guys are currently playing up on the #1 power play and have put up some really nice points here as of late, having combined for 6 goals, 11 assists, 17 points in just their past 4 games. Now, folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. And don't forget, I am running that Discord channel as well. For those of you on Discord, if you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below. Alright, now diving into some of my favorite individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards. First guy I got there is Braden Point of the Tampa Bay Lightning, who is playing very well, especially at home as of late. He's now got a goal here in 9 of his last 10 home games, and has a great matchup to expand on that here tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who've allowed 3.87 goals per game this season, 3rd most in the NHL. This should be a game that Tampa Bay takes control of from start to finish. And you take a look here at his game log in general this year at home, Braden Point, like I said, has been very good. 15 goals, 10 assists, 25 points in 20 home games this season. Now, another line stack that I really liked here tonight and almost highlighted, but wanted to give you a cheaper line stack to go with in Seattle, was that first line for the Winnipeg Jets. You got Pierre-Luc Dubois centering Kyle Connor and Nikolai Ehlers. There is so much offensive upside with that line, and a really solid matchup against Detroit as well, that I'll probably be sprinkling them into my lineups tonight too. But Pierre-Luc Dubois of the 3 is offering the best value, and another guy who's been playing some really good hockey here as of late. 5 goals, 9 assists, 14 points in his past 10 games, averaging around 3 shots on net per game. And the nice thing about that first line from Winnipeg, they're all on that #1 power play as well, so it's very strongly correlated. I then got Thomas Hertl there of the San Jose Sharks, who also has a good matchup tonight against the Arizona Coyotes, a team that's given up 3.67 goals per game this season. That's the 6th most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's just hit at a 73.5% rate. I like that Hertl's back up on that first line right now with Timo Meier. The chemistry between those two is very real. You could stack them up as a little mini stack if you wanted to, and that's usually what I'm doing with these individual plays. Sometimes it definitely makes sense to just do one-offs, especially in cash lineups, but when it comes to tournaments, I'm always trying to find that correlation. So I like the mini stack there with Timo Meier. Could even add in someone like Erik Karlsson on the blue line. You take a look here at Hertl's last 10 games, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points, averaging around 3 shots on net per game. Now, an opportunity play that I like here tonight is Evan Rodrigues of the Colorado Avalanche, because he's currently playing up on that first line right now with Nathan MacKinnon, and he's made the most of that here in his past 5 games. He's actually riding a 5-game point streak right now, and has a good matchup at home here tonight to expand on that versus the Florida Panthers, a team that has really struggled a lot more than probably any of us would have thought, but they've allowed 3.41 goals per game this season. That's the 10th most in the NHL. Erod is kind of bouncing back and forth between the first and second power play, but needless to say, getting time on the special teams. Pulling open his past 5 games here, you can see he's racked up 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. He hasn't been afraid to shoot the puck either. And then I got JT Miller there of the Vancouver Canucks, and I think this game between them and the Penguins could definitely have some high scoring potential tonight, especially with the Penguins still missing their top 2 defensemen in Chris Letang and Jeff Petrie. Miller plays on the second line, but up on the number 1 power play. A lot of offensive upside with this guy. He can be a little bit boom bust at times when it comes to racking up DraftKings points, especially when he isn't shooting the puck on a consistent basis, but that really hasn't been a problem here as of late, averaging around 3 shots on net per game over his past 10, where he's racked up 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points, and again, he's just one of those guys who has 25, 30 plus DraftKings point upside, really on any given night. Now, moving over here to the defensemen, and for the most part, I probably will be spending down at this position tonight. A lot more value here than at the forward position, in my opinion, but 2 guys I would be willing to pay up for, and stacking them up with forwards on the number 1 power play is Cale Makar of the Colorado Avalanche and Victor Hedman here of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Makar, I really don't need to make a case for him. The best defenseman in the NHL, in my opinion, logs big minutes, 25 plus minutes per night, plays up on that number 1 power play, plays on the penalty kill, and a defenseman who can rack up DraftKings points in a number of different ways. Victor Hedman just had a kid the other day, so you got that narrative to go with, but a good matchup at home here against the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's back up on the number 1 power play and now has 13 assists here in his past 10 games. Now, if I'm looking to save some money here tonight, I got a handful of honorable mentions in the notes, but one guy that I really like is Vince Dunn of the Seattle Kraken. He's playing some great offensive hockey as a defenseman right now, and you can stack him up with that first line that I highlighted earlier, being that the Buffalo Sabres aren't afraid to give up some goals and their penalty kill has not been very good. But like I said, Dunn's been playing some really good hockey here as of late, has scored a goal in 3 straight games, and has 3 goals, 9 assists, 12 points in his past 10. And then I got Ty Smith there of the Pittsburgh Penguins, who's dirt cheap at $2,900. He might not log the most minutes, but he has logged 20 plus in his last 2 games. That's not the role he usually plays, but he is playing up on that number 1 power play right now, so you can stack him up with any one of those forwards, because like I said earlier, no team has been worse on the penalty kill this year than the Vancouver Canucks. And Smith plays on the number 1 power play. And then I got a couple of goaltenders here for you. Connor Hellebuyck and Ilya Sorokin. Hellebuyck has been awesome this year. He's currently riding a 4-game win streak and really has been one of the best goaltenders in the NHL this year. I'd say he's number 2 just behind Linus Ullmark of the Boston Bruins. If I had to put a Vezina vote in myself right now, he's got a 29-1 record this season with a goals allowed average of 2.30 and a save percentage of .928. And then with Sorokin there, he can be a little bit boom bust at times, but he has been awesome at home this year, and I know his record really doesn't show that, just being 8-6-0 at home, but look at his numbers outside of that. He's got a goals allowed average of 1.86 and a save percentage of .939. Those are absolutely fantastic numbers, and a solid price here at $7,600, and I'll like Sorokin and the Islanders even more if Roope Hintz does not end up playing tonight. And as always, going to wrap up the spreadsheet here with 3 low-priced options or sub-4K forward plays. First guy I got there is Seth Jarvis of the Carolina Hurricanes, currently playing up on that first line with Aho and Pacioretty, and plays on that number 2 power play. He's got 5 assists here in his past 10 games, and he's averaging a half point per game on the season, 20 points in 40 games, so he can definitely get on the score sheet. But I really like the way he's been shooting the puck as of late, with 3+ shots on goal in 6 straight games. Next is Eeli Tolvanen there of the Seattle Kraken, plays on that third line in number 2 power play. He now has 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points in 5 games since joining the Seattle Kraken, and he's got a good matchup to expand on that here tonight against the Buffalo Sabres. And then Barrett Hayton there of the Arizona Coyotes, plays on the third line and up on the number 1 power play. He's got 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points in his past 6 games, and a solid matchup to expand on that at home against the San Jose Sharks. And then to wrap up this video here, want to talk a little prize picks with you guys. Now, if you have not signed up for prize picks yet but want to get in on this action, I got a promo code that you should definitely take advantage of. When you're signing up, use my promo code GRIFF. GRIFF, and PrizePicks will give you all the way up to a $100 match deposit. Now, you don't have to put $100 in either. You want to put in 50, they'll match 50. You want to put in 20, they'll match 20. They will match anything up to $100. Again, as long as you're using my promo code GRIFF, GRIFF, upon signing up. Now, for those of you who are already on PrizePicks, you know my plan of attack here. Wait for all the picks to come out, do my research, and let you know my final picks in a comment below on this video, and I'll be sure to pin that comment as well. But don't forget, I am posting these in my Discord channel too. We got people joining that on a daily basis, talking PrizePicks for other sports, and that's exactly what that Discord is created for. Not just NHL, not just NFL. Folks, join the Discord to talk about anything DFS in there. I might not have any strategy for the NBA, but hell, if you do, join it. Give your thoughts in there, give your plays. The community has been great so far, and we're looking to expand on that. Again, if you want to join, link in the description below. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 10-game slate. In the meantime, I'm out of here.